Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we talk about Spiral from the Book of Saw.
This package just came in.
Get everybody out of here.
Play me.
Hello, Detective Banks. Do you know where your officers are?
So I just got back from watching Spiral from the Book of Saw. Although most things now I just see it calling Spiral from Saw or of Saw. It's strange. They kind of dropped the from the Book of Saw, at least in all the promo stuff I've seen, which is neither here nor there. I just found that to be interesting. So I will start out by saying, as far as a Saw movie, this is one of the better ones. Not the best, but it is one of the better ones. But I was disappointed. Not crazy disappointed, because it is still a pretty enjoyable movie, but I was disappointed in the simple fact that I don't feel like this movie did anything really new or different. So I don't get this whole idea that Chris Rock went to producers and was like, hey, I got this great idea of this new thing we could do with the Saw franchise and take it in a whole new direction, that whole kind of thing, because I don't see it at all, and maybe I'm missing something. So if you guys out there have seen it and you see some big groundbreaking new thing that this movie does, please let me know. But for the most part, this movie is just kind of a cop drama with some horror elements thrown in. It doesn't have that same kind of dread as a movie like Seven. Really, if it wasn't for the traps that are done in this movie, it wouldn't really be much of a horror movie. It would be more of just kind of a cop drama. But as far as the traps go, they are really well done in this. I did really like them. There's a lot of uniqueness to the traps, and they're extremely bloody, extremely gruesome, and just interesting and just pretty well done. But outside the traps, there wasn't a whole lot to hang your hat on, in my opinion, with this movie. But I did still enjoy it. It was still a cool movie. It's well produced. It looks really good. Although I do have to say that whole yellowing, like everything always being kind of yellow in this, did start to get a little old to me. Kind of like the bluing when movies are done where the whole movie is blue. It's like, I understand doing that for certain scenes, but when the entire movie just all feels like it's through a filter, it does kind of get a little bit annoying to me. But that might just be me. But I did notice it after a while. As far as Chris Rock, I do have a hard time buying him as some hardened badass cop. He does do a pretty good job of acting in this, but maybe it's just me, but I just kind of felt like every time I looked at him, I was expecting him to smile or make a joke or laugh. He's just kind of hard to buy in this role, and it was something I was afraid of going in, but he did do a better job in this movie than I was expecting. Like, he really does act pretty well in it. But like I said, I did have a hard time buying him as that hardened cop. Samuel L. Jackson was great in this, like usual, but unfortunately, he's not in this very much. He honestly has maybe 5 minutes total on screen, like very, very small amount, but he does do a really good job when he is in it, and the small scenes where he's with Chris Rock, they did really well together. There was really good chemistry between the two of them. Outside of those two, the acting was just kind of okay. I mean, there wasn't anything horrible. There wasn't anybody who stood out and I'm going, oh my God, they were horrible. There's nothing like that. But there wasn't anybody who was really outstanding and made me notice them either. The only other actor who I had any issue with at all was the main chief. She just kind of, I don't know, wasn't super believable. And I just kind of felt like her acting was a little wooden. But it wasn't horrible. It didn't completely take me out of the movie, but it just was something I did notice. The other issue I had with this movie is it's pretty easy, in my opinion, to know about halfway through this movie who the villain's gonna be. Like, it isn't super horribly telegraphed, but it's kind of obvious. I mean, if you're trying at all to figure it out, I think you will figure it out. And once you figure out who you think it is, then it's pretty easy to figure out why you think that they're the villain. So there's that too. That wasn't the greatest. I did like some of the new fresh things that they did do, as far as the marionette pig and having pig mask and the spiral and things like that, just kind of changing things up a little bit. So I'm not at all trying to say this is a horrible movie, and I'm not at all saying you shouldn't see it, because it is still a cool, entertaining movie. But as far as a Saw movie goes, it's probably up, somewhere in the middle of the pack, maybe towards the top. But it's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. I'd love to know if you've seen it and what you thought, or if you plan to go see it this weekend. And if you also could do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week, I also want to give a huge thank you to my patrons, because your support seriously means so much to me. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.
Hello, Detective Banks. When was the last time you saw your father?